In the first 6 months of 2019, the UK spent £1.6 billion on gaming equipment like this. 5.77 million of that total was spent just on Nintendo Switches alone. Now I'm sure that some people would say that it's perfectly reasonable to spend £500 on Mario Kart or £1,000 on getting a new sword in World of Warcraft, but today I'm going to be asking, do gamers spend too much money on gaming equipment? Meet Alfie. He spends a large amount of his income each year on the newest games and technology. I sat down and spoke to them about their hobby and their views on prices. Thank you for speaking to me today.
Of course, yeah.
Now, can I ask you, how long have you been playing video games?
Since probably about 2007, with like Lego games, I'd say.
What do you first remember about playing video games?
I remember that it was just a fun way to around when I wasn't doing anything else, which was most of the time because I was a child and I had nothing to do.
How do you currently play games?
Well, I like to play on Switch because that's the only console I have, because no need for anything else. It's pretty good, pretty decent.
Do you think you spent too much money on your Switch?
I wouldn't say so. I just play the same game like over and over again, really.
Do you know anyone that you think has spent too much money on their gaming consoles?
Well, I think my good friend Charlie over here, he spends quite a bit on fancy stuff that I don't think you would necessarily need, but you know, each to their own, so.
Thank you for speaking with me today.
Of course.
After speaking to Alfie, I decided to speak to Dom, who is an expert on PC video gaming. Now can I ask, how long have you been playing video games?
Since I was like 5 or 6 when I got a Nintendo DS and a few games on that, so quite a while.
What do you remember about your first gaming experiences?
Wow. It's a long time ago. Just the DS in general, which is quite a interesting game console, if you can call it that. Yeah, just the DS. That's all I can really remember.
Yeah. What do you currently play on?
PC.
Do you think you spent too much on any gaming hardware anywhere?
Not really. A lot of my own money went towards the computer, although quite a few components and stuff that I had as part of my setup were bought for me. So, I mean, the computer was the biggest investment I'd ever made in my life. So, but, you know, it's not too much money, but maybe I'm trying to justify it.
Do you know anyone that you think has spent too much on gaming hardware?
Definitely. I don't know them to name them, but I definitely think people do tend to spend too much on gaming hardware. It tends to become a bit of an addiction.
Yeah. Well, thank you for speaking with me today. So I think it's time that we return to our question. Do gamers really spend too much money on stuff like this? Or is it justified how much they spend? Personally, I think that when you're spending money, thousands on getting a new 3090 card, when you've already got a reasonable graphics card, or you're buying every single collector's edition of the game because you want that statue, I think, yeah, then you're spending a bit too much. But if you occasionally go for a more high-end product such as Razer or Corsair, I think that's completely justified, you spending money on that every now and then.